Good morning, everybody, and this is your Forex day trade setups for today. So starting off with Euro USD, and we did get some data out yesterday. CPI data was worse than expected. Jobs number was ever so slightly worse than expected, and well, nothing really materialized, to be honest. Was pretty much bad news, so you would have expected the market to sell off the dollar to get a bit stronger. Didn't materialize, and we're basically still heading sideways, and I'm actually not even going to bother with levels on this because we don't really have. I suppose that is so that's the only level that I can really see at the moment. 121.844. We've been flirting with it for quite some time, and we kind of rejected it yesterday, and now we're back above it. So if we come down to the hour, you'll see what I mean. So bad news should have had this running down. So, CPI increasing should have had the dollar strengthening and the euro getting weaker. It started to happen, and then the buyer stepped immediately back in and drove it back to the upside. So basically what you're reading into this is next week we have the Feds with their quarterly meeting. So now, well, we don't actually know what the hell's going on, so we'll just wait to see what the Feds are going to do. All the other central banks around the world this week have basically just cut and pasted their response from the last couple of quarterly meetings, and that is we will wait and see. So stimulus is not being switched off at this stage. There's no taper at the moment around the globe, so I can't see the Feds doing anything different. So, yeah. The cheap money still in the market, the Fed is still propping up the market, and that's kind of where we are. So, with that little bit of a ramble, where are we on the trade? We are sideways. There is no trade here. This is quite simply sit quietly in your corner and keep your money in your pocket. Don't be tempted, and don't think that you have to trade. You'd probably be more profitable and less risk by just playing the lotto at the moment than trading this pair. Anyway, US dollar, Japanese yen, going to be pretty much a similar picture, and you can see what should have happened is we should have had a strong dollar. We didn't get it, but last week we had more movement compared to what we've had this week with big amounts of data. One thing that is concerning is look at these oscillators. There is massive divergence. So the one is pointing up, the other one is pointing down. The one is kind of coming to a bearish turn, and the other one is already in a bearish turn. So it's just a fast and slow moving oscillators. But when you see that kind of stuff, stay away. You want them both traveling in the same direction, whether it's flat or whether it's pointing up or down. You want to trend it. When they're all over the place like this, that's exactly where the market is, all over the place. So look at the 1 hour, and here you have exactly the same scenario. So the dollar should have got strong with the news, and this was basically the news bar here. Confusion, down, then it's like, oh no, we're supposed to be getting strong buyers, and then down again. So we are properly confused, unfortunately, and at the same time we are range bound. So I'm just going to do that. That is our range. Until we clear that area properly, we do have a bit of a gap to the downside that may still offer a little bit of support, and that's 109.326 is the bottom of this range, and the top of this range is 109.648. That's been the story of the week at the moment, and I think you look at the week, there's no real reason to be anywhere at the moment as far as I'm concerned. Do have a bullish cross that's forming on the weekly. There's a bit of a flag though, so down flag. I'd expect another move down, probably to come and test this area eventually. That would be somewhere in the region of 107.952. But for the day, from a day trading perspective, still on the sidelines. I think guaranteed to be profitable that way. British pound, Japanese yen, London breakout strategy has been working this week, but you'd be very wise to take your profit very quickly because they are breaking to the opposite direction and actually hitting the upside targets as well. So just to give you an indication of that, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my range is 6 bars. There's my range. There's my range there. And you can see there's my range target. You'll see some buyers came in, and then also the 261.8 extension was also hit. But then immediately, once that was hit, take your profit, because guess what happens? We break to the upside and we hit the range and we hit the 261 extension to the upside. So, whenever that happens, it just indicates that there's volatility in the market. So, from a long-term perspective, I would just stay far away from this, not really worry about long-term trades. But with the British pound, there are so many people that play the London breakout strategy first thing in the morning, because basically they can see what's going on, put their trades in, put their stop loss in, they've got a defined take profit, and they carry on with their day. And that's hit more often than not, so you've probably got at least a 65% success rate with it. And so you're going to win more than you're going to lose, even though it's only a one-to-one trade. So yeah, I think that's the only thing that I would be looking at the moment. We are starting to cross over a little bit here, but oscillators group to the upside, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see us either just hover in the range today, or just sort of drift lower and then a little bit wide of a range or a tight range. But that's kind of what I expect there. Not really interested in getting into that either. Euro British pound. So this has a little bit more of a violent move, and we're sort of staying at the bottom. The trend is down, as I've been mentioning all week. We are below the moving averages. We seem to be holding up on the 155, so we keep coming to 155 and testing it. Oscillators group to the downside, looking for opportunities to be short, and big up the day before, big down the day yesterday. And same thing here. British pair, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's our London breakout strategy, and you can see just fell short of the range, but the 161, as I say, is always your first target area. Take some off there, and then you take the rest off at the range. So that happened, and then look what happened to the downside. Immediately broke below the range and hit the range target. Buyers kept in, and then also hit the 261.8 extension. Look to the left, look at your structure, and you'll see there's a lot of structure to the left, so obviously that's going to be an area we need to pay attention to. So I think of both the British pound pairs, I think a Euro British pound is probably the one that we need to pay attention to today. That's probably the only one that I can see some activity forming. Now, what I'm referring to at the moment is we have the structure, and I'm going to have to put another level in for the structure. There we go. So that is our structure. So if we do start pulling back into the moving averages here and sort of find some form of resistance right here, right there at 086064, and that's within, well, before the market opens, that would be a pretty interesting London breakout strategy, because I'm almost sure that that would give us a target to the upside. So we've got a range target right here in this area here, which makes sense. We have the 61.8 extension, which is the bottom of the range, and then we have the range target, which is a little bit lower down, which basically matches that area there. So that is kind of what a half decent trade that I'd be looking at, and probably worth it on the 15-minute. If you can get back to, just show you what I'm talking about. So if you can get back to this area here on the 15, so 086064, and then get some kind of a bearish bar, you can take a trade on the break of the bearish bar with a tight stop on the top of it, and then you're looking for the range breakout, and then 61 extension, 61.8 extension, and then the range target. So you'd be looking for this 085800 followed by 085713. So that's kind of the only trade that I can see at the moment, which would be a 15-minute trade, and quick in and out, pretty well structured. So this tagging would have to happen before 10 o'clock my time this morning. So within that first 2 hours of the market opening, the European market opening. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Nothing much really for any swing trades, anything. Complete confusion. You can see big up, big downs. It's and we're in between all the moving averages. And whenever you see that, you know the market is confused. So it could be something brewing on this pair. We're going to get a weaker euro and a stronger pound, which may spill over to Euro USD, but we'd have to wait and see what transpires. But I think it's Friday. For me, the safest bet is keep that money in the pocket. It's a fantastic trade, always profitable. And we will catch up with you later. Anyway, cheers for now. Enjoy the weekend.